So as Julie mentioned, I am Kayla Dozier, Senior Sales Engineer here, and I'll be leading the demo. But Harshawn and Daniel, feel free to interrupt me at any point here in the conversation whenever you have any questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Kayla.
You're welcome. All right. So, question I want to ask. I know we're going to be talking about dynamics here, the embedded agent, and what we can do with that for you going further here. Well, we're also going to be talking about teams as well. I know that was in the invite here, teams and dynamics. I want to make sure that we'll need to kind of converse through both of those topics.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and I'm hoping everyone can see it now.
Yeah, you can say.
All right, great. So starting off with teams here, and I'll segue over into dynamics and show what that embedded agent and the experience looks like here, but everything will be highly unified here with the experience of what your agents will be handling. So with our teams environment here, from an agent perspective, we're able to still do some standard things such as chat internally here. So you're just seeing kind of a testing chat from a demo environment perspective here. If there's any activity and feed that I'm tied to with different teams, I'd be able to be tied to different teams here. So I'd say usually from like a knowledge-based perspective here, I can definitely chat with maybe supervisors or team leads here. So it's going to be very a unified experience. One of the newer features here would be the calendar presence sync ability here. So I have a couple of things on the calendar just to kind of give you an idea of what it could look like from an agent perspective here. But later on today, I have a coaching with my supervisor, and tomorrow I have a vacation day taking care. So with all of that here, that can be synced here from a Microsoft Teams perspective. So very high level, but just want to kind of speak to that here from the Teams perspective. And then I'll segue over to kind of the dynamics, as I know that's definitely the hot topic. But any questions about what you're seeing or just kind of what you do with Teams today here?
Yeah, I mean, we already use Teams for
Okay.
our internal purposes. We
Okay.
don't communicate with our customers as such with Teams. We exclusively use our CRM system for that purpose.
Okay.
But only internal inside the organization, we do use Teams.
Okay.
But I want to know like how it can helpful to what we are trying to do, the Teams.
Sure. With Teams, so the environment that you're saying would be more so from the internal perspective, just as you're using today here. So being able to kind of use that internally speaking. From an external, in regards to using Teams from an external perspective, I guess I would ask, is there a specific use case or reason that you would see that you will want to use Teams kind of for your agents to communicate with the customers there from an external perspective?
I mean, for now, no. We are
Okay.
more interested in Dynamics embedded
Okay.
agent. That's the main focus here. But I know you have some tools and this thing where we can use Teams to get the calls and communicate with the customers. But that's different ones. But we are mainly want to focus on Dynamics embedded thing.
Okay, we can definitely focus on dynamics here. And as use cases come up and new releases, things of that nature, we can always circle back with teams here, kind of in a future conversation. But just want to kind of show you this from a very high level teams here and how we can basically definitely mimic what it is that you have today from a team's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what you're seeing now here as a segue a little bit would be our dynamics environment here, that experience. So the back end here, we're able to see from a CRM perspective, any accounts, any contacts, also any cases that are tied here. So I have I'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and delete this because we're going to see an interaction in just a moment here, but I'd be able to see any specific contact information that's tied to a specific caller when they come into the queue here, and all the information that's tied to that specific contact. So what looks a little bit different here over to the right is that embedded agent. So I'm going to go ahead and log in the interest to show that interaction here, but kind of a dashboard. One other thing I'll point out what we can see. So I can see when I log in as an agent here, just say I check Teams and I want to to see about any internal communications, but now it's time for me to get ready and handle interactions. I can go ahead and check any active cases here with those roles and permissions that are set up for me. If there are any resolved cases, I don't have any in my queue right now. That's great. Any emails maybe that I'm waiting for here, and any activities. So I'll go ahead and get logged in here to my agent, and I'm just going to set a phone number since we have so many agents worldwide that are working remotely, and mimicking that use case here. All right, so once I get logged in here, what you'll notice, some information I can look at here, activity, any previous calls that have come into the agent. I can see all of the specific skills that I'm assigned to, or anything that's assigned to, and anything that's waiting. So I can see anything inbound, outbound, if there are any voicemails here also, and I can also look at my agent reports. So I could be held accountable for my own performance here and not necessarily have to rely on my administrators or supervisors to let me know how things are going. So I can jump right into my productivity, and I can look at it as far back as a week here, maybe yesterday or today. So perhaps Monday was a little bit rocky. I know I definitely need to finish the week a little bit stronger here, looking at the performance here. So this is how I can come into my agent reports and go into that information. So I'm going to go ahead and go available and get logged in here and launch a voice interaction here. All right. And I'll put those other phones on mute there. All right. So with the contact that comes in here as that loads, that information is coming through from for the agent here. So I'd be able to say, hey, this is the contact it's tied to, the account number, all of the variables that are attached to that specific account here. Once I also do so here, I can look at any specific actions. So if there were any notes here from a historical perspective, I can look at that information here, not right here in the CRM itself, but I can also go ahead and tie any information. So maybe I want to just follow up with the customer here or check on a follow-up. What I can also do is those notes and dispositions, the activity, and I can do some standard things such as hold the call. I can definitely transfer the call here as needed, and I can do a blind or warm transfer here, and I can transfer at the skill level or to a specific agent. So with that specific interaction here, I can handle all of the information that's needed. I handle that interaction as it comes through here, but also be mindful of the information that's tied to that specific caller or that specific account here. So I can look at that profile. If there are any cases or histories that are tied to this specific account, I'd be able to look that information up here as well. So this is how it would look from a very high level here with the dynamics. From the dynamics experience here and what it looks like from the agent experience here, that embedded agent. So as of today, it would be voice only. And I know right now you did mention from a chat and email perspective that you're handling that just within Dynamics, but we do have in our summer release other channels that will be available. So at that time here, the embedded agent will be able to handle emails and chats as well. So that's something that could be handled here within the embedded agent. But right now, that would be voice as of today. So that's high level, again, just kind of a quick overview of what it looks like from that voice interaction, all of the information that we can pull. So I want to open the floor here to any questions that you have here, what you're looking to do here, and just kind of talk through some things with you.
Yeah, so one thing currently which we are facing issue in our current CRM system is like the phone numbers, right? So now the call came in and it's immediately identified the ABC company based on the phone number which came from, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so in our CRM, our phone numbers, customers' phone numbers will have a prefix of 001.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, even though it has a zero because it's like we have a company everywhere in the world, so we have to maintain that 001 thing for US phone numbers. And in that case, what happens? Like currently, it's not working in current Service Cloud agent because we have 001 and in contact is not able to identify the phone number. And our agents end up asking questions to the customer email address or something and try to get the contact information manually.
That's a great question. So let me ask with that 001, is that a specific identifier unique to your specific company as to why all the phone numbers come up that way, or just, I guess, country codes, how that's
It's
being
a country code. It's a country code. And for US, it's 001. So that's why all our contacts in CRM system has 001.
Okay, that's a great question here. So in an ideal world, if I understand here, we have that country code that's being recognized, that automatically knows, hey, it's coming from the US here. It's really recognizing kind of that 10 digits following that country code here, and it's automatically going to pop a record, just as you saw in this in this interaction. Is that correct?
Yeah, so currently in your example, there is no 001 for ABC company, and it directly pulled the specific contact. I mean, if we have something like this, if we don't have 001, then it will work the same way for us too in current scenario. But unfortunately, we do have to maintain that 001. So in that case, how can you get the contact information when the call come in?
Sure. I'll take that one offline to see what we can do about making sure that country code is being recognized. So that would be one. Another part of that question also could be adjusting, and I guess I would ask based on kind of what it is that you're looking for to kind of pop and information data that's gathered that actually pops to your agent. So I know the main identifier seems like it's the phone number. Are there any other, I would say, kind of secondary variables in general that you kind of outline maybe, and like I say, this is purely for kind of demonstrative purposes here, like account name, but if there was like email or any other variables or data here that you're kind of collecting as well to pass off to your agent, I guess I will ask that way.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously have email and everything of a contact, but in this case, we are doing only phone calls. So we have to identify based on the phone number, just like what happened in your demo just now.
Okay. Yeah, let me take that one offline with the phone number country code here, because I'm sure there's a way dynamically we can dynamically on the back end here, we can kind of route those business rules to handle that country code or any country code as it's being recognized here. But I'll have to take that offline here and get an answer to you following the call. But that's a great question. I've honestly never had that before. So it's a great question.
And the second question I have is when agent wants to look their fellow agents' statuses. Okay, currently the issue we have is it's just give us the color. Based on the color, we have to identify which status they are in, whether they're in break, they're in lunch, or technical issue, or whatever. So is there any way to look for the specific status of fellow agents' status?
Sure. So what you're saying here, I believe this is the question that you're asking. So you said you just have it color coordinated with kind of a red or green. I guess they're available and unavailable. So you're seeing a little bit more detail here around our agents. So again, we can do it at skill or agent level, but you're saying Bart Simpson is available, but we see some other agents here unavailable, and it's telling me that actual activity code. Just as I have here, I can see those same folks. Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. This wasn't the case in the current. Okay, perfect. Yep.
Great question, though. All right.
Full of great questions today.
Is that?
So, I mean, you have a lot of great questions.
Yeah, because these are the things which we are facing currently. So we don't want to have the same issues in the next.
Yeah, let's say the first one, the the country code is something that, it is very annoying. So we don't want something like that. So I believe then we can check it, but I don't know if we are putting 001 or +1.
Yeah, I want to say it might be plus
Plus
0,
one,
0, plus 001 the plus sign is probably before every country code. We also, over the last year, I mean, we've been global as long as I can remember, but over the last year, we've expanded our presence right through Australia, besides just the UK and all over the country. So I would, if it's not happening now, especially with Microsoft Dynamics, I would expect it's on the roadmap. But again, I'm not R&D, so we'll take that as a follow-up and make sure we can identify your country codes.
Okay. Yeah, so otherwise, Julie, I think that we need a customization anyway, even if it's not part of your, let's say, roadmap or product, we have to have a customization.
Right, right. Now, how soon, you said you don't have customer dynamics yet. What's yet look like? Does it look like in the next couple months? Is it a project that you have on your radar for summer? What's your hope for doing Microsoft Dynamics?
Very soon. So it is a global project, and now
Okay.
The roadmap for US, I believe that is in April, Arshan. I don't know.
Yeah,
No.
so
Okay.
end of March or early April, we should be right.
Oh,
Yes.
so we need to run, not walk.
Yeah, that's why I was behind you. Like, can you make this demo earlier?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I can do that. How many agents did you say? I know last time you usually want to start with like 10 before you put it global. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, currently we are using this CRM system just for B2C side of our business. So there are just 10 agents, but very soon, pretty soon, like we will be including the B2B side of the business too. So at that time, our different departments will join in, like AR and tech and regular customer care. So we may end up maybe 10 or 15 more.
Okay. And are those agents on your current In Contact platform today, or?
They are, but they're not on CRM. They use
Gotcha.
Maps.
Okay. I can get that going for us, right? I can get us a quote today. Kayla, what we probably need to identify if any of this conversation needs customization. I don't think it does. It sounds pretty standard, but would be the embedded agent. I should be able to get your pricing within the next 24 hours.
I think you already did.
Did I give you pricing?
Yeah.
I can never remember off the top of my head what it is, so I'll have to look at my email.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good. I don't think the monthly is very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact numbers with me.
I don't either.
Yeah, but yeah, monthly it wasn't much, but the initial was
Right.
It's a big bill.
Yeah, it is a big build, right? And I think since I just sent it in an email, I will try and get it in a document.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
great. So Kayla, we have there's two action items, the country code identification, and was there another one?
Harshan just had two questions. The other was about the agent states, I believe.
And we
so
saw Yep.
Yeah. So the only follow-up is about the country code, but I'll just ask, I guess, Daniel and Harshan, if there are any other, as Julie stated, from what we've discussed thus far, I don't see any in-depth or really any customizations based on the conversation, but are there any other, I guess, use cases or needs here that you're trying to kind of get filled with this transition to Dynamics? And I can vet that out for you here if needed.
Yeah, there is one more,
Okay.
but you can continue your demo, then I will ask that. Are you done?
The demo is pretty much done here from a very high level. It's really short and sweet usually. So I'll be honest, it's usually a lot more conversation about kind of the customer needs. So feel free to shoot the question because I was just going to talk about kind of the disposition. So I'm sure you've seen that exciting before here, but just kind of wrapping up the call and how we'll disposition that. So just any notes and I can carry that over here in the life of kind of tying that into a CRM perspective. So if this same person calls back in here from ABC company, I'd be able to see, hey, those are the notes. So just making the next agent more intelligent with what the information that's been passed on from the previous interaction. So that's the only other tidbit I was going to kind of add here. So yeah, that's kind of it, and just close it out. But go ahead, Harshan.
Yeah, so there was a conference option in the current one. I don't see you shown me like a transfer and the forward, but there's something called conference.
Correct. So we can conference as well. So like the if I understand the three-way call, like a three-way call
Yeah.
here, or just yep. So we can do that as well here,
Okay.
in the interaction. So yeah, we can conference it. And you just saw it a little bit more granular here with the what am I trying to say? The blind and the warm transfer options as well. So if I
Okay.
want to go ahead and connect as an agent perspective, I know it's frustrating when people have to repeat the same things, and sometimes I know I've told agents, I'm like, look, don't make me repeat this again. Please get
Mhm.
someone, on the phone again. So
Mhm.
that's that warm transfer option here. But then we can blind transfer if we, the agent sets them up. Hey, it's a little bit of a wait time. I know agents have done that as well here. And we'll do, hey, it's about, a 10-minute wait time. So I'm going to go ahead and pass you over. But this will be a great way to kind of handle those notes here. So that way I disposition correctly here and that information can go ahead and follow to the next agent.
Okay, so there is a conference option too.
We can
Yeah.
conference, yes.
Okay, perfect. And the main other question I have is like the queue, right? So currently, as I said, like we will be using only phone calls for in contact, and for emails and this thing chat, we use the CRM itself.
Right.
So before, when we didn't use the CRM before, then we exclusively used in contact, both for emails and phones. So there we have an option where like there were no phone calls in the queue or something like that. In contact will pop up the email automatically, and once the email is done and the phone is waiting, then phone call will come into picture. So the queuing will happen automatically using in contact, right?
That would be correct. So queuing kind of the routing engine behind the scenes there, being used to with the embedded agent. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, like that's what the situation before when we didn't use CRM, but when we used in contact for both phone calls and emails, and that's very productive. So now we use emails for CRM. So is there any way for you to queue, even though we are not using in contact for the emails?
Okay, I understand what you're asking. So, they're siloed, if I understand here. So we have the phone calls that are being routed from an in contact perspective, even though we're talking about the embedded agent, which will still be routed with all the proficiency as needed. But the email is going to be kind of worked, I guess, in a different system, directly or natively, into Dynamics. I'll double check that. I don't believe so, just because it won't be handled through the ACD, and that's really where the magic happens behind the scene of kind of knowing how to route that. So without the interactions being tied to the ACD, it won't know how to route. So that summer release is going to, I'm pretty sure that's no, I'll double check that following the call here. But with our summer release here, that'll be able to handle emails. That'll be able to handle emails and chats as well. So when that summer release happens, then all of those interactions will be tied to our ACD from a back end perspective here, and you'll be able to handle all that from the agent. So you'll have visibility, like you stated, from that queue and reporting perspective to say, hey, we have X amount of emails or X amount of chats and voice calls that are waiting here that have been worked here, and see the toggle time here when people are available, unavailable, and kind of what they're doing.
So that means when you say summer release, so currently in contact agent for Microsoft Dynamics can't do emails and chat right now.
Correct. It's voice only.
Oh, it's voice only
Yes.
currently.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I just want to clarify though, because I know that with Salesforce, for example, um, if you don't, and Kaylee, you might have to make sure I'm understanding this too. If the customer does not purchase or have the email functionality on the InContact platform, I do not believe it syncs with the email coming out of the Microsoft Dynamics, because there's a difference, right? It does if the email is coming through our platform, and I didn't think it did in any of our CRMs if the feature is actually in the CRM. Now there might be a work item routing. So Kayla, we might need to do that, because I deal with that a lot. Some customers do want the email in their actual CRM, and it doesn't route into the queue. You can't see it in there. So that would be great if it did.
Yeah, so I mean, we tried that in the Service Cloud too.
Yeah.
But it was taking more time and everything. and we were assigned to different vendors of yours to do this task, and it didn't go anywhere.
Right.
So
yeah, it is a challenge if the email is not, and of course, I think things in a very simplistic, but if the email is not a point of contact within your business unit, I've seen it be different, but I could be 100% wrong. Caleb would know better than I do.
Yeah. So, I mean, we had the same issue, as I said, in Service Cloud, and one of your colleagues at that time, they said like it is kind of possible to do that, even though we are not using emails for in contact.
Yeah,
But yeah, you can have it as a look into it and let us know, because that will help us a lot. Because if there were no phone calls in the queue, it will pop up the email and agents can work on the email automatically. Now what they have to do is they have to manually go in and work on the emails, and when the phone call come in, they have to abandon the email and then start working on the phone calls.
Yep. And I think back then we kept saying, yeah, it can work because we can do a work item routing, but work item routing is completely different than it being coming in through the ACD. So we'll take that up and make sure that we're, everything we have changes so quickly, and we also work so fast to meet the needs of our customers. Sometimes we have to take a step back and make sure that we're asking the question right. So great question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'll, as Julie mentioned, I'll take that offline. I would say more so with the timeline that you all are looking to meet. We can see what we can do here about kind of routing that, like you stated, from a CRM, and then maybe in the summer here, once all of that routing is native, right, in our ACD here, kind of those chats and emails, it'll definitely just make life a lot easier from that reporting and tracking perspective. We can kind of get that turned on for you, and everything will be just presencing available here with that embedded agent. But I'll take that one offline. Okay.
Well. Yeah. So yeah, let us know on this. These two things are main, the 001 thing and this one. But obviously 001 is highest priority, because that's the beauty of having this, where phone call come in and contact is in front of the agent already.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great question. I like that one. So good question.
Yep.
Okay, so since in Italy it's probably the middle of the night, we should let you.
Oh, it's almost 9 p.m. So
oh, it's not too bad. It's not quite sleep time, right? In my world, it is, but it would be. Okay, so do you feel like we answered all the questions? Anything else before we let you go?
Oh, I have just one question. Let's say just to finish as which can be the next steps. So if I understood, Julie and Kayla, this is, let's say, a product that you are selling, correct? Is part of your, let's say, package. So, of course, we wanted to test it. I don't know if we can do that in a test environment, or which can be the next step that you need from us in order to.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we don't have a test environment, because a test environment wouldn't be your instance of Microsoft Dynamics, right? And so it is something that needs to be plugged in on your business unit once it's contracted. So the pricing I gave, I need to put together a contract. Once it's contracted, a resource will be assigned. Now, I have another customer doing the same thing, and I will tell you the delay in resource assignment is about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. So we probably want to get a contract going as quick as I can turn it around and you can turn it around, so we can get in that queue, if you will. It's just a big demand. It's a very specific team that is implementing these for us, and there's a big demand. So we want to make sure that we get it for you.
Okay.
But we want to answer in the same time while I'm working on contract. We will clarify all the questions that you asked and make sure that we know the answer. If it comes back and they say, nope, country code cannot be identified, but here's what it is, then we'll just have you decide whether you want to, have it set up knowing when that will come, or if that just is a deal killer for you.
Okay. Yeah, clear.
Yeah.
So, and Arsen, sorry, one question more. I remember that because right now at the phone call, the system shows up the contacts or the customer, let's say. Can open directly the case. There was an option. Instead to open the contact form, just open a case.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, there are two options currently. We can open an incident, we call it, in Dynamics terminology is a case, and you can open a contact. But when the incident opens, if you go in that route, that will have the contact information already, because incident needs a contact in there, right? So that will have a contact information already, so that they don't have to do anything. So incident is already created with the contact inside. So that's what I mean, but now it's not happening because of that 001 issue.
Okay.
Okay. So, and but I'm hoping Dynamics 2, once we figure it out what to do with the 001, do we, Kayla, like, do we have two options where it can open the contact when the phone call come in, or it can open a case with contact in it?
Sure. I'd probably say either or. So
Yeah.
just to make sure I understand here. So just in kind of using that in interaction that we saw here. So launching a phone call here and assuming that the 001, we've resolved that here. So the question here is, does it, I guess, does it open at like the incident level or kind of the contact level? Is that how I understand it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's really based on how you want that to be configured.
Okay.
So yeah, because I have this actually, this could be it could actually pop two different ways here with this ABC company. So I do have a this ABC company in the details here. So I do have a specific user, and with that phone number, it shows sometimes at the company account level, and also the phone number with the contact level. So it's really based on your business rules, how you want that to pop, and what happens here in the event. Just to even talk through that even further here, because it does happen with customers who are tied with that same use case. If the phone number pops up, what we can do here from a embedded agent perspective in the CRM with that integration is say, hey, do we want to assign this at the contact level or the account level? Because it could be this person is calling in about the account here, or just someone else from the company is calling in and it's actually not that person. So it really depends on your business needs here and how you want to configure that.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. Clear.
So, Julia, like once we figured out the 001 thing and the contract is signed and everything else, if you, I mean, based on what you said, that it will take time for you to assign a resource for us, right? But meanwhile, if you can, I mean, I know this is what I did by myself last time too. You guys provided the like instructions how to set up this thing, and I did it by myself. So is that possible while we are waiting for resource?
I will check. I think this is a little bit different. The team doing the Microsoft, I've never seen any information on it. I do not know if information is within, and you can check within Central, our help site, right? It could be in there. I haven't looked, I haven't seen it, but I can certainly check if there's anything that talks about being able to download this ahead of time and test it and play with it, any of that stuff. I will check. I don't know the answer to that question. So, and then, like I said, go ahead and type in Microsoft, agent for Microsoft Dynamics, and there might be some information on it in the help site.
Yeah, I know that you don't have a test environment, but I can once I get the instructions, I can set this up on our test environment, test CRM, test Microsoft Dynamics, and test everything in there, and then we can move into same thing in production, right?
Yeah, you might be right. Let me check and see what it does. See what the team does.
Okay.
So, okay, awesome. I will get going on my paperwork. Kayla will help us, and we'll get the answer to those questions and move as quickly as we can for you.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Have a great rest of the evening or rest of the day, depending on where you are, everyone. And I will send some follow-up emails.
Thank you.
Sure.
Can I ask you also the link for this video so I can share with my colleagues in Italy?
Sure, it'll take just usually a few minutes following the call here, but once that's generated, I'll get that sent out to you, gentlemen.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Fabulous. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great
Have a
evening
Thank
and
you.
day. We'll see
Thanks,
you.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
nice day. Bye bye.